Good afternoon, my name is Jonathan Blake. I'm doing my article on Jose Angel Perez, who is part of the Asian Boys crew, who was a part of a gang shooting between the Asian Boys and the Tiny Rascal gang, which Nath Uch, who was 8 months pregnant in February 1st, 2006, stepped outside and was caught in a crossfire. Her and the baby did not make it. He was charged in 2006, along with other members that were included in the shooting, with first-degree murder and life in prison. 10 years later, 8 years later, in 2014, they found that due to the judge misstating the Fresno, California law, the case had to be retried, where they then found he was then charged, instead of first-degree murder, with 2 counts of second-degree murder, where he was given 80 years to life in prison. Now, in 2016, February 1st, because of the youthful offenders law, he may actually be able to get to parole at age 50. For the second question, I chose this because it shows that the criminal justice system isn't always perfect. There are mistakes. And for instance, in this case, the judge misstated the law to the jury, which 10 years later they found was inaccurate and had to retry it. It's not perfect, but they still were able to get him charged again differently, but still with the same effect, the same weight. But then it must have been a blessing that he also got, due to the Youthful Offenders Act that was passed in Fresno, California, leniency to prove that he was worth being able to go to the parole board and get through. And after watching the video and reading this article, it seems as if he's really trying and he's really remorseful for what he has done. The thing I learned about this case is that if you were in charge of actually stating the law and enforcing it, that even getting one syllable, one phrase, one part of that law that you were supposed to enforce wrong can cost you and the others involved either the entire case, another person's life. It could cost them to go to jail for 10 years unnecessarily under the wrong circumstances. Under the right circumstances, as you present the actual law as it is, for instance, in getting the law, an aider and abetter need not act willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation in order to be guilty of first-degree premeditated murder, so long as the actual killer behaved as such intentions, when it was actually supposed to be, in general, saying an aider and abetter must also act willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation to be found guilty of first-degree meditated murder, when even the jury doesn't seem to believe it. I mean, getting anything wrong, though the justice system is not perfect, but getting specific cases or specific executive orders that you're supposed to be in charge of enforcing wrong can hurt other people. The defendant, the offender, and all those involved. And also, this case highlighted, as the article says, the tragedy of being involved in gangs, guns, drugs, peer pressure, but also it's sad that a baby was involved, not a woman was involved, because two gangs thought it was a good idea to shoot out in public.